I'm so glad that you're with me here today. Thank you for your patience. And again, I'm going to suggest that we just hold comments in the chat until there's content to respond to, although it's helpful to know when things aren't working. So thank you for that notification. Zoom is updated once more. So, why am I doing this 5 day Deja Vu dating challenge? For a number of reasons. I'm aware in many people's lives that whether you're dating to mating, you have a challenge. You continue to find yourself in intimate relationships, and these can even be business relationships that don't involve sexuality, that become about power and control. And so the deja vu dating challenge is about learning how to recognize when you're in a power and control dynamic that feels really uncomfortable, and your compassion and your desire to make sure that someone else feels really confident about where you are in the relationship serves them, but it doesn't serve you. And so, very early in any relationship, you can become what I call the overgiver, which means that you're always attending to the other person in the relationship's needs first before you're attending to your own. Now, why does this happen? This happens because you don't yet know how to generate healthy boundaries for yourself. So, let me just pretty much say that if your family, if your parents, one or both, or whoever your primary caretakers are when you're a child and growing up into adolescence, if they've been uncomfortable talking to you about intimacy, sexual intimacy, the process of dating, how you choose someone that you want to become physically affectionate with and intimate, if this hasn't unfolded in your life in a very loving, frank, casual, relaxed way, you've already been set up for a certain kind of pattern of disappointment, frustration, and sometimes really heartbreaking moments where you're incredibly confused and the relationship turns toxic and you're not really sure what's happening or why. So, the Deja Vu Dating Challenge is, first of all, to help you recognize that's going on. And secondly, to help you become aware of more information so that you have the opportunity to learn how to develop strong, healthy, emotional, physical, sexual, and this will include mental boundaries about your relationships, whether they become intimate, sexually intimate, or whether they remain really deep, intimate friendships, sometimes for a lifetime. This needs to be sorted out, and I'm aware today because I'm around a lot of young people. This is still not actually handled very well. And young people often have to find their way by throwing darts at the dartboard and not knowing how to throw a dart or not knowing how to hit a bullseye or getting even close to hitting a bullseye. This takes up a lot of time, a lot of psychic and energetic and psychological energy that if you repeat this pattern again and again because you're not breaking through it because you don't have any more new information about your own energy field and how it works. You may have gotten information about your sexual parts. You may know how those work if you're female, or if you're male, how those work. You may know how a baby can be conceived so that you can avoid that if that isn't an experience that you want to have. But very few people know about their energetic, basic, seven embodied chakra system, and that there's so much more to that. We're actually each of us 15 chakras, and we're multidimensional, and your seven embodied chakras keeps you kind of locked down in a very confined part of who you are. So deja vu dating is also about you remembering more of who you are and of being able to learn how to become comfortable with discomfort, with emotional discomfort, with learning how to let a silent pause inform your body that you feel your body, that your body give you information that you want to have before you do whatever you're going to do next. So that's what deja vu dating is about. And I'm going to encourage you to wait and save your questions. You can certainly put them in the chat because I'm going to start the presentation, which is a PowerPoint. But jot your questions down, and I actually have a number of questions that I'm going to be putting into a workbook document, which if you're back here tomorrow, I will share with you as part of your having signed up for the challenge. And I'm so glad you're here. So let me just say one more really important key point before I begin the PowerPoint. This is about you learning how to remember who you are so that your birthright of having wonderful, joyful, sensually blissful, long lasting, healthy relationships becomes a natural part of how you express your life. That's my goal. This is my intention. And so I invite you to take it one day at a time because this is not information that can be delivered even across an hour a day, 5 days in a row. There is so much to learn and there's so much to remember about who you are, all of you. There's one more point that I want to make, and that is most of us take breathing for granted. Now, we can't see the oxygen that's in the air that we breathe. We can't smell it, we can't taste it. But if it's not there, we die. And so I want you to be aware of the fact that energy is very similar to oxygen. It's all around you. It's absolutely part of your being able to get through the day healthy and well and remaining alive from day to day. But you can't see it unless you begin to remember all of who you are. And that's a practice. It's a lifetime habit. And I take the most joy and pleasure in teaching people how to remember who they are and then how to solidify moving through life, always being willing to just take a breath, reset, recalibrate, come back into your own authenticity and memory of who you are, and then move forward with your dating to mating journey from that kind of an energetic place of centeredness and being grounded and learning to trust your intuition, which is what your body, what your DNA wants you to know in any given moment. It's very important when it comes to dating and mating, especially these days, because as we know, interpersonal violence is on the rise, and it's certainly increasing in dating to mating, in familiar relationships. And we want to be able to use energy in a beautiful, fluid way, and also to communicate in a really very careful and powerful way so that the control dynamic that is central to deja vu dating is shifted.